Hello everybody, how is it going? In today's video I will be reviewing Destroy All Humans 2, Reprobed. With this being a remake, I will point out some improvements that were in the graphics part of the game, and I will admit that I did not play the original Destroy All Humans 2, but I would still highly suggest playing this game. But without spoiling more, let's get into the review. This game is a lot of fun, and for me that's because the gameplay is so simplistic. I know that may sound like a bad thing, but it really isn't. The best part of the game is the destruction, in my opinion, even though sometimes that can be a little lackluster, considering that a lot of the missions don't require you to destroy a lot of property. You do have the option to do that in free roam. The only problem that I have with this is the fact that it seems to take too long to destroy buildings. And from what I remember in the first Destroy All Humans remake, it was a lot faster to destroy buildings, and I wish it was just easier to do that in this game. There are many weapons within this game that add some excitement to the overall gameplay, and some of these weapons are called the Zap-O-Matic, Meteor Strike, Ion Detonator, Gastro Gun, Free Love Dislocator, Disintegrator Ray, Burrow Beast, and the Anal Probe. The weapons that I used the most were the Zap-O-Matic, Meteor Strike, Disintegrator Ray, and the Anal Probe. I used the Zap-O-Matic because it was the main weapon of the game, so it was the easiest one to use. The Meteor Strike was just really fun to use because they can destroy an entire block very easily when it's fully upgraded. Otherwise, it can be very underpowered, which is disappointing. The Disintegrator Ray was really useful when you just wanted to kill the enemies very easily and fast because it disintegrated them, and it seemed to have more of a punch than the other weapons. The only problem with this weapon is that you need to pick up ammo. The Anal Probe was just fun to use because, come on, you're an alien. Why would you not use the Anal Probe? Besides the weapons, there is an open world, but don't be too afraid of the open world. It's not going to be like Far Cry 5, where you have to find every little collectible in a gigantic world just to unlock a stupid skin. I would say that there are 5 levels within this game, and each one has a tiny open world. They're not very big, and you don't really have to collect things. You do have the option to collect things, so then you can upgrade your weapons as well as your saucer, but otherwise there's no need to collect things. You also have the option to replay missions, which I really enjoyed myself, because there was an unexpected add-on with these missions. You actually have the option to enable certain cheats, which I find really cool. Some of these cheats consist of unlimited health, unlimited ammo, and there are also cheats to make the game harder for you. The options to make the game harder can consist of random explosives being thrown at you, the enemies being stronger, as well as having more vehicles spawn with weapons on them. Then you have the fun little cheats like Big Head mode, or X-ray mode, where you can see people's skeletons. I just really like the fact that this is included with the mission replay, because if you want to replay a mission to unlock a new skin, you don't have to worry about dying or anything like that getting in your way. The only issue I have with this is the fact that there seems to be no option to enable these cheats when you're just in the open world, and I wish there was an option to do that. I mentioned before that there are ways to unlock new skins for your saucer or crypto. The way you can get these skins is by completing side tasks in a mission or just completing a mission on its own. Some of these side tasks in the main mission include destroying police cars, killing an enemy with an explosive, or disguising yourself as human without being noticed. I really like these side objectives because it gives you more of a reason to come back to the mission if you want to 100% it, and it gives you more of a fun experience when you're trying to do something in a unique way instead of just following the main objective and getting the mission done. There's also this new upgrade system that I really enjoyed in this game, and it even added more to the game without it becoming tedious. As I mentioned earlier, you can get these points when you complete a mission, and with these points you can actually upgrade your weapons as well as your saucer. The stuff you can upgrade with these weapons is to have more ammo, have more charge, as well as add more damage to the weapons. The same thing can be said for the saucer, where you can have more ammo for your weapons and more damage, and an added thing you can actually do is upgrade the shields. I really like the fact that there is an upgrade system because it just adds more to this game, and it also makes the gameplay feel fresh throughout the entire game. Even though a lot of the combat system is the same throughout the entire game, it can change because your weaponry is stronger, meaning that the encounters that you have won't be as stressful and you can have a good time doing it. There's this side activity that you can do where you basically kidnap humans off the street. This is part of the upgrade system where you can upgrade your telekinesis, body snatching capabilities, and stuff like that. This stuff can be really handy, so I would highly suggest that you would actually do these kind of activities, and they're also fun. Speaking of body snatching, there's this mechanic in this game that makes a return, where you can disguise yourself as any kind of human. This is where the stealth component of the game comes in, and I gotta say it's executed very well. Sometimes you would need to sneak into a KGB base or figure out some information, and so you would have to disguise yourself as a human to read other people's minds to find out where the objective is hidden. I think this is a fantastic way of doing it, because it can really show you how alive the world is, and at the same time you can read people's minds, and they can say some pretty funny stuff. There is also a risk to doing these missions because you have a health bar for how long you can stay in that disguise. It just adds an extra little bit of challenge to the game, and I'm quite impressed on how the developers thought of something like this. I thought that because this is a remake, I would have a little section where I talk about the changes made to this game. I got to say the graphics are a major change in this remake. I know that would seem obvious, but compared to the original Destroy All Humans 2 game, the graphics are night and day. I will admit that I did not play the original Destroy All Humans 2, but I did look it up on YouTube, and yes, definitely the graphics have had a major upgrade. You might say that it looks too cartoony, but in my opinion, that visual design actually suits the game perfectly, and I just love how everything seems to be detailed enough that you can tell there's a major difference in graphics. I also like that the humor was unchanged, and I really like the fact that they kept the humor in this game, because it felt fresh to me to finally play a game that had some good humor in it. Some of the cutscenes were even changed in this game, to add more context to what's going on, and they even changed the look of all the character models. After going through the god-awful story of Saints Row, it's nice to finally go back to a game that doesn't take itself too seriously while also still being entertaining. This game does perfectly what the Saints Row reboot cannot, and that is actually making me laugh.
Alright, hit me again with the part about Bongwater's blimps.
What?
Bongwater, he has blimps full of Revelade.
He does? Far out!
No, you're the one who said so! You just said he's gonna cover Bay City in Revelade gas.
Whoa. Really? I said that?
Focus, freak. Does he or doesn't he?
Does who what?
Does Bongwater have Revelade blimps preparing to attack Bay City?
Bongwater has Revelade blimps preparing to attack Bay City?
See, kids, this is why you shouldn't do drugs.
With the modern society, as well as game developers taking life too seriously as well as trying to push their social bias, it is finally nice to see a video game that is not afraid to make fun of people as well as social constructs. This game is obviously a remake, and back when this game was originally released, which was in 2006, humor was a lot different than it is now, and a lot of risky things could be said and be just brushed off as humor. And I'm glad to say that in this remake, that this story is not dumbed down and the humor is still exactly the same. Besides the humor, we have a story that is told in 1969, which is in the prime of the Cold War, and a lot of jokes are told about the Cold War as well. With such a serious topic, I'm glad that they were able to make light of such issues. The Russians are getting increasingly worried about the Furons taking over Earth, as well as their country. The Russians decide that the best way to deal with this problem is by destroying their mothership that is being piloted by Pox, Cryptosporidium's boss. Now that the KGB is aware of Crypto's presence, Crypto must now take down the KGB as well as take them out for revenge because they destroyed their mothership. Throughout the game, we go throughout the world from the West Coast, Britain, Russia, and finally the moon. Basically, the rest of the game is Crypto trying to take down the Russians with a sidekick named Natalia Ivanova. They must take out the Russians and the Blisk in order to save the Earth from being destroyed. The Blisk are another species of alien that are the arch nemesis of the Furons. They have weapons that are far superior to the Furons, and they pose a great danger to their species. The story itself is very simple, as you can tell, but it has a certain charm to it that it doesn't delve deep into any social issues or any of that stuff. It's just a fun little story that gives you a giggle every once in a while and can sometimes get very interesting. You also have a lot of conversations where you can actually choose what Crypto says. The only issue with this is that no matter what you choose, you'll still get through the cutscene properly, whereas I wish that there could have been some consequence to what you have said. I'm not expecting to have a long conversation with somebody and figure out everything about this person, and I don't want it to be like an RPG level of choice. For instance, in one side mission, you're trying to create this cult, and I feel like Crypto shows himself as an alien far too soon, and I wish that instead of just being given that one option to show him as an alien, it could have happened where I had to persuade them into believing that I was an alien, and if I turned into an alien too quick, then that would have some ramifications where the police could be on the lookout for an alien, so you'd have to be extra careful in the open world. That's the kind of stuff that I would have enjoyed. I'm not saying that this game is impacted negatively by not having this in the game, but I'm just saying that it would have been a cool little mechanic. With all of that said, this game is a lot of fun, and I would highly suggest that you would buy this game. With fun gameplay as well as a funny storyline, and it only being $40 on Steam, I just don't see why you should not pick up this game. I wish that every remake/remaster would be up to par to what this remake was. With all of the games these days being released full of glitches and not being much fun, it was a breath of fresh air to finally have the game with everything included as well as having minimal glitches. I just hope they make another Destroy All Humans game. Thank you all so much for watching my review for Destroy All Humans 2. I hope you enjoyed this game as much as I did, and if you want to see more reviews like this, then please consider liking and subscribing. Also, if you want to let me know what you thought about this game, then please don't hesitate to comment down below. Thank you all so much, and see you in the next review.